At approximately 8:30 this morning, the OPSO jail operations staff found that several inmates on Pod 1 Delta were missing during their head count. That jail staff immediately began a systematic search of the facility for those inmates as members of our investigatory team began combing through video to see where they could have gone. At 1 a.m., they were observed on camera exiting our facility using an adjacent loading dock door. So a loading dock door adjacent to that pod. At 1:19 a.m., they were then observed scaling the fence along the I-10 between our building and the currently under construction phase 3, using blankets to avoid being cut by the barbed wire. Those individuals subsequently ran across the westbound and eastbound lanes of I-10 and then entered the neighborhood. Although it was previously reported that there were 11 escapees, there were 10. 9 remain at large. 1 was apprehended earlier today, which you've covered, and 1 person previously reported as an escapee was located inside the facility. As of right now, 3 employees have been placed on suspension pending the outcome of this fluid and ongoing investigation.
Guys, look at this. We are right here. This whole building exploded. Jesus. Explosion was so crazy, it blew out the glass of this liquor store. Look at this liquor store. Oh my God. All from this explosion, poor guy. Damn. This liquor store, crazy explosion. Glass and everything everywhere.
News out of the United States now, where a bomb has exploded outside a fertility clinic in California. Let's go straight to 9 US correspondent Lauren Tomasi in Los Angeles. Lauren, what more do we know?
Lizzie, police are calling this an intentional act of violence this morning. We know 1 person is dead. Authorities believe that is the suspect, though they have not been identified just yet. This happened in Palm Springs. It is around 2.5 hours from Los Angeles. Authorities saying it is a car bomb which exploded outside a fertility clinic in that town there. It has caused extensive damage, as you can see. Staff from the fertility clinic say that all of their colleagues are safe. No patients were inside at the time, and no eggs or embryos there were damaged. This is an IVF clinic. 5 people, though, have been injured in this explosion. Look, the FBI has now dispatched a bomb squad and special investigators there. We don't yet know the motive, but it is certainly a disturbing scene this morning that 1 person killed following that car bomb, Lizzie.
Lauren Tomasi there, thank you.
we are just a city that's really grieving. We know as of right now, the death toll is unfortunately at 5, but we know that that hasn't changed since last night. That's a good thing. We know that as of right now this morning, 38 people have been reported injured. We do not know the severity of those injuries. We know that the devastation is truly tremendous. We are estimating right now about 5,000 buildings have been impacted. We, as you know, declared a state of emergency last night that really propelled all of our city services to be on point. City forestry, cutting down trees, getting the streets passable was our first priority. They did an enormous amount of work, parks, forestry, all of those city services, ensuring that first responders and residents could get through our streets.
Developing today, Walmart responding to President Trump after he called out the chain's plans to raise prices later this month. Trump in a Truth Social post earlier saying Walmart should, quote, eat the tariffs. We're here to break all this down for us, the CNBC retail and consumer reporter. You do both.
Yes.
Melissa, thank you very much, Melissa Repko, for being here on this. So take us through all the back and forth on all this and all that's new today and why Walmart was saying that it does need to raise prices. And yet the president's saying, I don't think so. You and China need to do something else.
So, Alex, this all dates back to Thursday when Walmart reported its quarterly earnings, and it warned that price increases were coming later this month and into June. Walmart's CFO, John David Rainey, told me that they just can't absorb all the price increase. They plan to absorb some of it, and they said they expect their suppliers to absorb some of those higher tariff costs. But he said even with that lower rate of 30% on Chinese imports, it's simply still too high in his view. Here's more of what he said earlier this week.
We're wired to keep prices low for customers, but the level of tariffs that have been proposed is pretty challenging for all retailers, for suppliers, and certainly our concern is that consumers are going to feel some of that.
So you have to wonder, because I read somewhere, and again, I'm not as up on it as you are, but that there would be some increase in May and a further increase in June. So what gives now then?
The question is really where tariffs will ultimately be. Companies like Walmart are trying to make a bet on whether that 30% will hold or whether it will go up. And so they're kind of making these calculated bets. And it's worth noting they are importing holiday orders at this time. This is a crucial time. And so they were being hit with 145%, right. And some of the imports landed at that level.
But in response to the president, we've put this up on screen from the CEO, we've always worked to keep our prices as low as possible. We won't stop. We'll keep prices as low as we can for as long as we can, given the reality of small retail margins.
Yes, it's worth noting that Walmart's CFO told me that they will try to maintain their price gaps with competitors, which means they want to undercut their retail rivals. And that will mean, in some cases, they're going to absorb more costs. But it does raise questions about what this means for Target and what this means for smaller businesses that aren't in the same negotiating position with vendors and don't have that kind of financial leeway like Walmart does.
Okay. Thank you so much, Melissa Repko. Appreciate you coming in.
Tensions between Israel and Hezbollah have reignited. The Israeli military has released this video claiming it shows a targeted strike on a senior Hezbollah commander in southern Lebanon. The vehicle was hit in the village of Mazrat Jimjim. The army says the militant was involved in rebuilding Hezbollah's infrastructure in the region. Following the strikes, Lebanese troops were seen at the site shortly after examining the destroyed car. Though a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah began in late November, cross-border attacks have continued. Israel maintains it is striking operatives attempting to smuggle weapons and re-establish launch sites. As tensions remain high and cross-border strikes continue, the threat of renewed escalation looms large across the Israel-Lebanon border.
بالتأكيد الشعب اليمني واجه الدول الإقليمية وواجه دول العدوان الأمريكي وواجه الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية وتعرض لأكثر من 1100 غارة من قبل القوات الأمريكية مباشرة لتثنيه عن هذا الموقف ولن ينثني ولن يتوقف ولن يتراجع بل يصر ويؤكد على أنه سيستمر حتى يتوقف العدوان على غزة ويرفع الحصار.
The IDF attacked and severely damaged ports in Yemen that are under control of the Houthi terrorist organization. All praise to the Air Force for the wonderful performance. As we said, if the Houthis continue to fire missiles at the State of Israel, they will be severely damaged and the leaders will also be damaged, just as we did to Mohammed Deif in the Sin Wars, Yahya and Mohammed, in Gaza, to Nasrallah in Beirut, and to Haniya in Tehran. So we will also do to Abdul Malik al-Houthi in Yemen. We will continue to defend ourselves on our own against any enemy. Our pilots have just successfully attacked 2 Houthi terror ports again, and this is only a continuation, and there will be a continuation. We are not willing to sit on the sidelines and let the Houthis harm us. We are much more harmed by them, including their leadership, including all the infrastructure that allows them to harm us. We also know that the Houthis are a symptom, the one who stands behind them, the one who gives them the support, the instructions, the approval, is Iran. The Houthis will pay a very heavy price, and we will defend ourselves by all means necessary to maintain the security of the State of Israel.
China is the next China. China's average per capita GDP is 5.5 times larger than India's. Scale matters. I've said this before and I'll say it again. China's going to grow about 5% this year. That's like adding an entire Vietnam and Thailand economy combined. So for all of your listeners, they're going to get bored of me saying it over and over again, but you have to look at scale. China is the only country that's going to account for about 1/3 of global economic growth because China is the next China. It's not India. They've banned in India 8,000 accounts on Twitter from overseas because they were talking about how India was losing 5 fighter jets and how they were losing the war. So the same censorship problems you have in China, you have in India, except China has a stable, peaceful government, unlike India.
World of Sign.
Gidiyor şu an. 3. araç mı?
Ay gitti. Ay araba gitti. правда. Посмотрите, как страшно.
So, can somebody tell me what the heck is this? And I'm not using no app. I am on County Road 2 in between State Avenue and K32. And I have never seen anything like that in my life. And it appears that little black stuff is falling down the center of it. That is just weird. And then just to let you all know, I'm not kidding here. This is real. Sorry, that's my phone doing that because it's a piece of crap Motorola. But just so you can see, it's me. And I'm live. And it's starting to dissipate. Look at that. Tell me that is not freaking weird. I have no idea. I've been recording it. It was a dark black circle and now it's dissipating. I mean, it looks like somebody blew a big old smoke ring.